Hi, let us discuss maximum sum triplet problem. So let's see what the problem is. You will be given an array of n integers such that each element is greater than 0. You have to find a maximum triplet sum such that I less than j less than k and e of I less than a of j less than e of k. And you have to return that particular maximum sum possible. So let's see this example. You have elements 2, 9, 6, 3, 8 and 10. If there are no any other conditions, what is the maximum possible value? It is 9 plus 8 plus 10. This particular combination gives us the maximum value 27. But this is not what we want. You have to satisfy this condition a of I less than a of j less than a of k, I less than j less than k. So in this particular example, the answer will be 6 plus 8 plus 10, 24. Here I, j, k are 2, 4 and 5 and e of I elements are 6, 8 and 10, e of I less than e of j less than e of k. Let's see a brute force approach. In this brute force approach, you can maintain three different pointers, I, j and k, and for every combination of, you can run three different loops, two inner loops and one upper loop, and for every combination of I, j and k, you can check the condition. In fact, here it should be e of I less than e of j and e of j less than e of k, and then if such condition is valid, then I will calculate the sum, and I can maintain the maximum sum I have seen in all these combinations possible. I can maintain a global variable of max sum, and if this sum is greater than max sum, I can update the max sum value. Let's see a better approach. So for every combination of I, j and k, the middle element is j, so that all the elements, and if such combination is possible, I have to have at least one element to the right of j which is greater than e of j, and I have to find the maximum possible value on the left hand side, but it should be less than a of j. So let's take an intermediate step where our middle element is considered as 10. Now I will run a loop to find which is the maximum possible value on the right. It is 13. It is greater than my current element a of j. Now I can run a loop on the left hand side to find the maximum possible value, and it should be less than 10. So if you see such values, 2 is less than 10, 2, 9, 6, 3 and 8 all are less than 10, but 9 is the maximum possible such value. So when the element is at j, the maximum possible value will be 9 plus 10 plus 13, which is 32. If you find all these combinations, like if you iterate your middle element from 9 to 13 and you can find all the possible values, the maximum possible value will come when the middle element is at 11, because on the right side the maximum possible value is 13. On the left side, the maximum possible value which is less than 11 is 10. So our answer will be 11 plus 13 plus 10, which is 34. If you see here, for every middle element, I am iterating all the elements on the left to find the maximum possible such left value, and I am iterating all the values on the right. And I am moving this middle element from 1 to n minus 1. If you see the overall time complexity, it will be of order n square plus n square. On the right, n square, on the time to calculate all the left values will be n square, on the right will be n square, which is collectively order of n square. Let's see one more better approach. We have this particular input. Say we are at a middle element. What if when we are at a particular position, we have already the value of the maximum element possible on the right side and the maximum value possible on the left side, which satisfies the condition, instead of running two different loops. Because if we run a loop every time, like for every j, if you run a loop on the left and right, it will take our time complex to order of n square. Instead, we should try to avoid running these loops. So when I am at 10, I have to find the maximum possible value which is on the right side. So can I use something like a prefix array? Say for example, I traverse from right. When I see only 7, the maximum possible value till this 7 element is 7. When I see 13 also, the maximum possible value after seeing 7 and 13 will be 13. When I see 11, the maximum possible value, when I see 11, 13, 7 is 13. Similarly, you can update the values. We can just need to run a for loop starting from right to left such that I will update the maximum value after seeing a particular position value. Say for example, when I saw 7, the maximum possible value I have seen so far is 7. When I go to 13, the maximum possible value I have seen so far is 13. When I go to 11, when I go to 13, actually the maximum possible value I have seen so far is 7, but this 13 is greater than 7. So the maximum possible value after seeing 13 will be 13. When I go to 11, the maximum possible value I have seen so far is 13, which I can find the rightmost at the right side of this particular position, which is 13. 11 is not greater than 13, so I keep 13 here. In such a way, in a single loop, you will maintain all the Rmax values. So similarly, on the left side, you need to find the maximum possible value, which is less than the middle element. Say for example, I am at 10, I have to find the maximum possible value less than 10, which is 9 here. Can we use a heap? At 10, say for example, if I maintain a max heap, I can be able to get the maximum value in the heap in order of 1. But what if I am at 8? The maximum possible value I should actually take is 6, which is less than 8, but my max heap returns 9. So heap doesn't work here. So if we have the elements in the sorted order, I can use a binary search to find the particular element which is maximum and still less than 8. Say for example, I'm at 8. If the elements are 2, 3, 6 and 9, I can use a binary search and I can use left and right pointers till I stop at 6. In such a way, I can maintain a sorted list and then I can get the maximum possible value on the left hand sides. So you have to find a proper data structure here. Tree set in Java serves this purpose. Whenever a new element comes in, it adds the element in order of login in such a way that the list so far is sorted. In C++, we have a similar data structure called set, which does the same thing. It helps us maintain a sorted order, and we can use this set container to retrieve the value which is less than a particular value and which is maximum. Let's see the code walkthrough to understand how this tree set works here. So initially I'm calculating all the Rmax values. I'm traversing from rightmost to left, n-2 to 0. So at every I am trying to see what is the maximum possible value I have seen so far till now, which I can get by right max of I plus 1. And if this particular a dot get of I is greater than the right max of I plus 1, I am updating right max of I as a dot get of I, because after seeing this element, the maximum element value is the value of the current element. If that is not the case, a dot get of I is less than the maximum we have seen so far, I will use the maximum we have seen so far at this right max I as well. Now let's see how we can use tree set. I will initiate a tree set. Initially I don't have any elements in tree set, as the middle element starts from 1 to n-2, indexes from 1 to n-2, because middle element always needs to have one on the left, one on the right. So middle element ranges from 1 to n-2. So initially I'm adding the first element. Now I'm traversing from I is equal to 1 to n-2 is enough for us actually. And in the tree set, you have a function lower and you can specify a particular value, and this particular lower function returns the value which is less than this value, which is less than the given input argument, and as tree set is in sorted order, it will give the maximum possible such value. So this function actually gives the maximum possible value which is less than a dot get of I. I can use this, and on the right hand side I can simply use r max of right max of I plus 1. Because I am at a position of I have to retrieve the value maximum value from I plus 1 to n minus 1. So I can use right max of I plus 1. And now as the elements should follow strictly the order of A of I less than A of j less than A of k. So if R max is not greater than A dot get of I, then this is not a possible combination, because there is no element which is greater than the current element, which is A dot get of I. So this is not a valid combination for me. At the same time, if I don't find any element which is less than A dot get of I, this lower function returns a null value. So if L max is not null, and at the same time there is an element which is greater than A dot get of I, which can be found using right max of I plus 1, then I have a possible combination. So when I see a possible combination, I can update the sum value possible by using max of the sum which I have retrieved so far and the current combination A dot get of I plus L max plus R max. And after this is done, I am adding the element in the set. Like whenever I see a new element, I will add the element in the set after seeing the left max and R max values. So initially I am maintaining sum as integer dot minimum value. Now if the sum is greater than integer dot minimum value, that means there was some combination and we have updated the value. If that is the case, I am returning the sum. If that is not the case, I am returning 0, because we have taken the input element such that every input value is greater than 0. And we can modify this problem a bit and we can use this for negative values as well. But for this purpose, I am returning 0 because I don't have any positive values in my negative values in my array. So if there is such possible sum, it should be definitely greater than 0, right? So 0 is my invalid sum, invalid return value. All right, thanks for watching.